Hi there, welcome to yet another edition of Power Sports. I'm Ronald Arfandika, joined by Mto. Mto, how you doing?
I'm okay, man. And yourself?
I'm good, man. Special weekend ahead of us. So much to talk about. The EPL, we also get to look at the Six Nations in terms of rugby. There's also action in terms of the the Cricket World Cup T20, which starts on Monday in earnest. That is for the Chevrons. So we're just going to be looking at some cricket, some rugby, and of course, dwell much time on the EPL. Now, we'll start off with some cricket. The T20 World Cup for Zimbabwe, we start on Monday. We play against Oman, a team that beat us yesterday by 4 wickets. A little bit embarrassing when you think about where we've come from as a cricket nation to be losing to the likes of Oman. But we know that sometimes when you lose these preparatory matches, you say, look, you were just trying to get some match fitness. You're just trying to just see some you can go away with it if you lose these warm-up matches. But should we write much from the recent form? Yes, we beat the Netherlands, and then yesterday we lost in the preparatory matches. We'll get to look a little bit in terms of the group opponents that we have, but should we be worried by the nature of their defeat yesterday?
There's nothing as a good lose. Obviously, all losses are bad, and you obviously want to go into an important tournament on the back of good results, having won. Obviously, psychologically, come Monday, Oman are going to be in a better place than the Chevrons, and you'd have wanted the reverse of the roles to say, we go into that match having won with maybe 6 wickets by 6 wickets, and we have confidence. Confidence is skyrocketing, and the guys are obviously going to push from that preparatory match. But then it's not all gloom and doom, because it's only a preparatory match, like we mentioned. The real business starts on Monday. We have to go in with the right mindset. Let's just tick off these losses a once-off and say we're going to look forward and move forward and look at the important things, which is the tournament, and it starts on Monday. We want to see a performance from the Chevrons. I always say in sport, a defeat doesn't matter that much, but then it's the nature of losing matches. If you lose and the performance is right, you're playing well, you're bowling well, you're batting very well, you're a bit unlucky, and things like that, I think you can almost certainly say, okay, fine, we're going to take a few lessons from this performance and move forward and look at the important thing. And I hope that's what happened yesterday, and that's what's going to happen come Monday.
Now, the last time we were at the World Cup, it was in 2022. We qualified top of our group. We got into the Super 12, top of our group, which was awesome. Now, it's a different group altogether this time around, because we've got Australia, we've got Ireland, we've got Sri Lanka, and of course, Oman, the team that beat us yesterday. How good are our chances? You can also drop a comment and let us know how far you think the Chevrons are going to go this time around. But where do you see us go, and who do you think are some of the players that we should look at? I know we've got the likes of Sikandar Raza, the captain. Brian Bennett, he's come to over the ranks. He's been a marvel to watch. The likes of Zaraban in terms of the bowling side of things. But do you see us? How far do you see the Chevrons going in this tournament?
Look, I don't want to sound anti-patriotic here and obviously root against the Chevrons. I'm obviously optimistic going into the tournament, and hopefully the Chevrons are not going to disappoint. But then looking at that list of teams like Australia, those are household names in terms of cricket. You look at Sri Lanka, obviously historically a cricketing nation, and we know what they do, but mostly in Test cricket, not so much in ODI and T20, so to say. So I feel the Chevrons are belt on to probably finish third in that group, but then anything finishing above third is obviously going to be a bonus. And I'm hoping for the best, praying for the worst not to happen. We're just going to sneak in there somewhere around second and maybe topple Sri Lanka from there, man. So I feel we have an outside chance. It's taking a chance against these bigger cricketing nations. You go in there against Australia, you've got nothing to lose and everything to win. If you manage to pull off a shock result, then it's a bonus, and you can actually build on that confidence. A tournament is all about confidence. The more you get wins from the start, and you almost have a springboard to actually go on, and everything that can happen is obviously going to be a bonus. So I feel we've got a chance, take our chance against the big names, and you never know, we might eventually end up in the knockout stages and probably in the semi-finals and something like that before you know it. So I feel there is a chance, but then it's how you start, it's the mentality, it's the psychology of things in terms of sport. Are we in the right state of mind? Do we have the right mindset? Are we willing to go all the way? And it's possible. Impossible is nothing. Even the word itself reads impossible.
Yeah, okay. So remember, India are the defending champions. There are also other teams that always, in any cricket tournament, the likes of England, New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, will always be favourites to win the tournament. But of course, we hope that the Chevrons, like he said, will give us something to smile about. Now let's move on and look a little bit just quickly. Rugby, the Six Nations tournament started yesterday. The defending champions, that is France, put Ireland to the sword, beating them 36-14 tries. Other games that are coming to today, that is Friday, Italy takes on Scotland. Rather, the games are coming to you over the weekend. Italy takes on Scotland. England takes on Wales. That is in the Six Nations. You look at these teams in the Six Nations, the Europeans, these are practice matches. They face each other. And we know that Zimbabwe qualified for the World Cup for a very long time. But you just wonder if we are going to have such good high-level preparatory matches like this. You see South Africa gets to play against New Zealand, Argentina, and Australia. How good opponents are. You look at the opponents that Zimbabwe are going to face into the run-up of the 2027 World Cup. You just don't see us getting some of these high-level friendly matches or preparatory tournaments that can get us up to speed. But obviously we hope that Rugby Union of Zimbabwe are going to spring up with a couple of good international friendlies for us to be at the highest level. Now let's quickly now move to the EPL. So much to talk about, but I know there's a lot of fixtures that are coming through, but we're just going to zero in on a few big games. Like Super Sunday, there's Liverpool taking on Manchester City at Anfield. You look at this fixture and you're thinking no one wants to lose this game. If you're Liverpool, you don't want to lose at home at Anfield against Manchester City, especially after a couple of wins in Europe and also against Newcastle. You're thinking you've turned the corner. Finally, you're now pushing for those top four, even an outside chance of the championship. And then for Manchester City, if you're Pep Guardiola, you drop points against Spurs. You don't want to lose momentum yet again and lose your grip. They're trying to chase Manchester City. What kind of game do you see pinning out in Anfield on Sunday?
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult match, a very big match, and both teams looking to get on the front foot. Manchester City ordinarily are an attacking football team, and Arne Slot and his Liverpool has been trying to instill a possession-based type of play. So obviously they would want to have a stronghold of the match and obviously be on the front foot. But it's going to be difficult. I know traditionally over the years, even since time immemorial, when Jurgen Klopp first joined Liverpool, Pep Guardiola always found Anfield being his toughest ground to visit. That's the toughest away ground that he has taken his Manchester City team to. Is it going to change? Now there's a new sheriff in town. Arne Slot, he's hit the ground running in his first season, but then it has almost certainly gone away this season. Liverpool, it looked like it was a disaster, but it's not as bad as people are making it seem, because they're still within touching distance and can still make the top four. So I feel it's going to be a very tough match, a match that both teams are going to be looking to get on the front foot. Like you mentioned, Manchester City can't afford any more slip-ups, because remember, they only have one win in their last 6 matches, and to drop points again tomorrow at Liverpool. Arsenal are going to be facing Sunderland, and Arsenal at the Emirates have been imperious this season, only lost that isolated fixture to Man United. So Arsenal, I think they're favourites to win against Sunderland. So that will be playing on the City players' minds, and also considering that Arsenal are going to play on Saturday. This match coming on Sunday, psychologically, if Arsenal would have won, it's more pressure for the City players, and for Liverpool as well. If United manages to win on a Saturday and Chelsea also gets a good result, they also have pressure, and pressure is going to mount. So I feel they obviously need to ensure that both teams need to get a win, but I think a loss will be more detrimental to Pep Guardiola than it will be to Arne Slot, for the obvious reasons that Manchester City are second and they're obviously chasing down Arsenal in the title race, and Liverpool, they're obviously looking to make it into fourth, but they can afford a few more slips-ups and still make ground and make it into the top 4 or 5 places that are going to guarantee European football come next season. So it's going to be a very difficult match. Erling Haaland, he's scored 2 goals in his last 10 matches.
I was going to ask you to say that if your main marksman in Erling Haaland has been disastrous in front of goal. Since he came through, he's very good. He scores goals. But what happens when the goals dry? Do you take him out? Do you take him out? Is there a time where you feel like he's going to be tempted to say, okay, maybe let me try out Semenyo on a false 9 or something, to say, let me give him a break. Maybe he's going to come back hungry, or do you just let him dry out in there?
Okay, Erling Haaland, a very good goal scorer, make no mistake, arguably one of the best in Europe today. But then that side of his match, when he has to come and lick up play and the chances are not coming. He has to create something out of nothing for himself. That's where he lags behind.
Yeah.
And in the big matches, we always see him struggling. Even in the season when City won the treble, he didn't score a goal from the quarterfinal stage right through to the final, both in the FA Cup and the Champions League for Manchester City. It's more like, and people started bantering him, saying he's a small game type of player because in the big games, when big teams, they go man to man, the quality is high, and the quality, they can be able to match your quality as an opponent. So it becomes a bit difficult for Erling Haaland. That's where, in my opinion, I choose the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele of this world. The guys were able to come and link up, play Harry Kane.
Yeah.
You think of Karim Benzema. People can come, drop deep, look for the football, and make something happen out of nothing. Erling Haaland is a traditional goal scorer. He almost struggles in these type of matches. So I feel, in all honesty, if I'm Pep Guardiola, I'm obviously thinking maybe I should go false nine. Antoine Semenyo, Liverpool want to dominate the football because they're at Anfield. The crowd is going to pressurize them to dominate football and dominate proceedings. They're obviously going to have most of the football. So you probably would want to play on the break and maybe have an Antoine Semenyo. It's a shame Jeremy Doku is not playing. Do you start an Omar Mamouche? I don't see Pep Guardiola doing it. Exactly, in the Carabao Cup. So I feel it's huge calls that need to be made, but I don't see him benching Erling Haaland. But what I'm asking from Erling Haaland is for him to come deep and link up the play, improve that side of his game, playing with his back against the goal. He has to do better and create chances out of nothing, like what all world-class strikers do, the likes of Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Harry Kane. He needs to do that because it's going to be very tight, and the likes of Ibu, Konate, and Virgil van Dijk are going to make sure that he doesn't have any sniff at goal.
Okay, so you can also come to give us your prediction. Manchester City travel to Anfield to take on Liverpool this coming Sunday. And then now let's look at your team, Manchester United. They are taking on Tottenham Hotspurs. The last time they beat Tottenham Hotspurs in any competition really was in 2022, and that's 4 years and counting. So they also beat Manchester United in the Europa Cup. Reason why United are not in Europe was because of that defeat. Now, they take on a different resurgent Manchester United at Old Trafford. A Manchester United that's got 3 wins in 3. Spurs themselves would be buoyed by the fact that they came from 2-0 down and forced that draw. Quite an encouraging performance against Manchester City. Going into this game, who was favourites? Manchester United or Tottenham?
I think there are no prizes for guessing. Obviously, the favourites, the matches at Old Trafford, and United have been flying. It's obviously Man United, 3 wins on the trot, and they obviously are the informed team in the Premier League. And Michael Carrick, if ever is going to audition for this job, and if ever is going to try and stake a claim to be counted come the summer, these are the type of matches you have to win. He's passed the Arsenal test, he passed the City test. Obviously, the boogie side, obviously, some people were doubtful, yourself included, to say, can United do well against these relatively smaller teams that United have to dominate possession against? And he passed the Fulham test as well in that. So I feel when he's going to be taking on teams like Tottenham, they have been a boogie side for United over the years, no matter how well they play. I remember the Europa League final, United had 70% of the ball. Tottenham only had 2 shots on target, and one of those shots ended up in a goal from Brennan Johnson. And for that particular reason, United are not in the Champions League. You don't want to be messing up and losing to teams like Tottenham, because Tottenham have been struggling. I think they're 15th now, but their away form has been good. The home form is what has been bad under Thomas Frank. I feel United have to put Tottenham to the sword if they had to be considered as serious challenges for that top 4 spot. And if Michael Carrick wants to be considered for that full-time United job, these are the sort of matches you have to win.
What then happens if they were to lose tomorrow? Are we back to saying the honeymoon phase is over? Do we start questioning the appointment of maybe someone that would not have that experience at that highest level? What happens if Manchester United, do you see the likes of Paul Scholes, who've been very vocal, and the likes of Roy Keane, who've been very vocal about the recent managerial appointments at Manchester United? Do you see that happening if Manchester United lose?
I mean, those guys are going to be an echo in a mountain. It's obviously always going to hear those echoes come what may. Even when United is winning, you heard Roy Keane saying, even if Michael Carrick wins all the matches that are remaining until the end of the season, I'm not giving him the permanent job. He obviously retracted on those statements and then came back and said he was sorry if Carrick does win, you would want to see him getting the United job on a permanent basis. So I feel it's a tough match, and there's no need to press the panic buttons really if United fail to win this one. But I'm saying if you are to be considered as genuine contenders for the title, genuine contenders for the top 4 spot, these are the sort of games you should be winning. also considering Tottenham have a lot of injuries, they've got 11 first-team players injured currently. They managed to get a result against City, playing people in positions that are not their own. Joao Palhinha played in central defense. Dragusin made his second appearance for Tottenham in a year. So you should be playing on that. If you're Brian Bumo, if you are Matheus Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, you should surely be licking your lips at what can be, because this Tottenham team is definitely short of quality in key positions across the pitch. So I feel United, if you are to be considered serious, and it's not a case of two steps forward and 3 steps backwards, you have to be winning this match.
You have to be winning. Yeah, so let's wait and see. Bruno Fernandes has been having a great season. He's within touching distance of Thierry Henry's assist record. Is it hoping that he can be able to break the Frenchman? And then lastly, we have to look at Arsenal. They take on Sunderland. I said in one of the first few teams to make Arsenal draw points this season. I think they came to you with the blueprint of how to stop them with the throw-ins and stuff. It was a very exciting 2-2 draw. They face Arsenal this weekend, and Arsenal will be looking to just win. As you look at them this year, they've just dropped, I think it's just in 3 games that they haven't won. Is it of all the games that they've been really good? I don't get the criticism that Arsenal faces, but you're looking at that and thinking, if they win, then it's another step closer to clinching the title. We're not just waiting for Coronation Day where they get crowned the 2026 champions.
Yeah, definitely. I think Arsenal, that there was that mini blip obviously during the course of the season, but then they were also helped by the fact that Man City were not consistent, and Aston Villa as well, they were also not consistent. So that obviously gave them a helping hand, but they have to be winning. Also considering the matches at the Emirates, Sunderland very tricky to play, yet to lose at the Stadium of Light. If the match was at the Stadium of Light, then City would have a mini respite to say Arsenal might as well drop points. But then this match being at the Emirates, I don't see Arsenal dropping points, and there can only be one winner in this unless there is a massive shock, and it will be the shock of the weekend if Sunderland managed to go to the Emirates and get a result. But then it's not beyond them, because remember, they went to Stamford Bridge and they beat Chelsea. They saw off Chelsea. Talby amongst the goals, a very good goal there, and they also went to Anfield and managed to pull a draw against Liverpool. They lost to City at the Etihad, and also lost United at Old Trafford, but then they've been doing very well against the big team. So it is a match that you can probably watch with one eye on that. Pep Guardiola is going to be having one eye on that match as he goes on to face Liverpool over the weekend. But I feel, if you ask me, Arsenal are favourites, and it is advantage Arsenal going into the business end of the title race.
And then lastly, Chelsea, they travel to Wolverhampton Wanderers. They have to win that game today. If you're Liam Rosignol, you've just lost. There was a lot of criticism in the nature in which they lost to Arsenal. They say that they did not quite go for it. They were a little bit conservative. Now he needs to win this game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But with the way that they have been playing Wolves, it should be a certain win. It's just a case of fulfilling fixture.
No, it's difficult. I remember United actually played Wolves at Old Trafford and they drew against Wolves. From that moment in time, Wolves have been on the up and they've been getting a couple of very good results. I saw the match between Wolves and Arsenal. They lost at the very death. Mosquera with an own goal. I think it was so unlucky, obviously, after having clawed themselves back into that match. So I feel Wolves is a potential banana skin fixture for anyone, but then they've lost some key players. Munez has since left as well. Chirewa is also left. Obviously, as Zimbabweans, we're going to be watching that match with a lot of interest, because some of our own boys are going to be playing in that, but they're not there anymore. So I feel it is a fixture that you expect Chelsea to win, but then everything is possible in the English Premier League. And like I mentioned, those isolated results, Wolves could have by the blink of the eye gotten a result against Arsenal, and they actually did get a result against United. So anything can happen in football, and in the English Premier League, I think the favourites tag, it almost counts for nothing, because teams are very strong. These boogie sides always seem to want to get the results against the bigger boys, but then Chelsea have to go into that one and definitely win. Liam Rosignol, the comments that he made against Arsenal, I don't understand where he's coming from, where he says this is one of the best performances. It's difficult coming to the Emirates and you only have one shot on target. I feel you shouldn't be saying that as a manager of a club the size and stature of Chelsea. That's a very big club, a club that's used to European royalty. They're actually holding Club World Cup champions right now, Chelsea. So you don't have to be saying statements like that. I think if your team doesn't perform well, no need to sugarcoat things and make them seem to be what they're not. Just call a spade and not a big spoon. I think that's what he should have done, is Liam Rosignol. So I feel he is well-spoken, but I think results count, and you don't have to be making excuses, especially after having failed to beat teams like like Wolves. So it's a must-win game for Chelsea, also for their top four hopes.
Okay, so we're going to walk out with this one. Cristiano Ronaldo, 10 to 41. Was it 41?
41 on the 5th of February.
On the 5th of February, the great Portuguese. But it's been the Cristiano Ronaldo month, a couple of weeks, is it? The drama that's been coming to you in Saudi Arabia. We hear that he hasn't been training. He hasn't also been playing. In fact, to put it straight, he's been on strike, is it? Over the fact that his club, Al Nassr, haven't been investing as much as you'd have wanted to bring in top players. You know, you tried to block the Karim Benzema transfer to Al Hilal, citing the fact that the competition wasn't going to be balanced. It just says a lot about the man, is it? The competitive nature that he has, even at 41. But I'm sure if you're the teammates, you'll be wondering, how bad are we that this man is saying that we need to have more. But what do you make of that? And is there a possibility of him potentially leaving and coming back to Europe?
No, I think Cristiano Ronaldo recently returned to training. Yesterday he was in training with Al Nassr. Him coming to Europe, I think the buyout clause is £43 million. I don't see any club investing that much amount of money on a 41-year-old. Obviously, there's no resale value involved there. And also his wages are a stumbling block because he's currently on £488,000 per day at Al Nassr. So that's very huge, and no one is going to be affording that. Teams can barely pay that in a week to superstars, let alone in a day. So I feel that makes a move back to Europe almost impossible, unless he's going to take a wedge cut and say, I'm still competitive, I still want to play in the Champions League, I still want to compete at the highest level. Then that move can happen. But the release clause is obviously the stumbling block in all that. So I feel it's very difficult. I see him coming back and playing for Al Nassr. Remember, there's also that pre-agreement to say that he's going to own a significant stake if he spends a specific number of years at Al Nassr in the club, similar to what Messi is going to do at Inter Miami. So I feel it is difficult seeing Ronaldo leaving at this particular moment in time. He's also the poster boy of the Saudi Pro League. So I feel there obviously are going to be talks that I had with him and a realignment of strategies of some sort to make sure that he comes back. But Ronaldo is very competitive. Even if you ask him when he's going to hang his boots, it's a question that he completely brushes to one side because he doesn't want to hear about that. It's almost like he's saying, I'm 41, but I've got a body of a 28-year-old, because he's got 3% being fat in his body, 97% of it is muscle. So I feel, and flesh, muscle and flesh. So I feel he's very strong, very competitive, and he still feels like he's at the height of his powers and he's ready to go. I'm sure the next goal for him right now is thinking, I have to win the World Cup come June, July this year. So Ronaldo, very competitive. Is he going to leave Al Nassr? It's a long shot. I don't see it happening.
You don't see it happening. But anyway, as we go out, let's check out your prediction. Manchester United versus Spurs.
Definite win for United, and that United have been leaky at the back. I feel 2-1 United, and Brian Bumo and Bruno Fernandes amongst the goals, the usual suspects. The usual suspects. You can also drop in your predictions. What do you think is going to happen at Old Trafford? Manchester United play host to Tottenham Hotspur, whilst Arsenal take on Sunderland, Chelsea, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then Liverpool will welcome Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. I'm Ronald Arafanika. Always a pleasure. I was joined by Mtowazi Singulube.
Ciao, ciao.